G'day City on a Hill. I wanted to take this opportunity to connect with you in what is an extraordinary time for us all. No doubt you, like me, were tracking the news from the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and the local state governments as they laid out the plans to get us out from under the doona, as Scott Morrison said. And today the Victorian Premier came forward to lay out stage one, and we've heard similar plans from the Queensland Premier and other state leaders as well. And you would have heard a whole host of restrictions being lifted, including the possibility now that we can gather up to 10 people in a public space, and that includes religious ceremonies, as well as having visitors to our home up to 5 people. We know still that there's many weeks, perhaps months before we can gather in larger gatherings. Stage 3 is signaling to us all that we could gather perhaps then with 100 people and honouring safe distancing, but that seems certainly a bit away. For now, we're entering stage 1, and that's a key part for us all to work together, to love our neighbour and our church as well. And so perhaps you're wondering, what does this all mean for our church? Well, I wanted to share a few things. First, it means that we're going to continue to gather on Sundays at church online and a host of different platforms on YouTube and Facebook. And I just love the way in which this has been an opportunity for us to have our Bible open, to sing songs of praise and to unite together as the men and women of God. You know, never in a million years did I imagine a time where we wouldn't have any physical gatherings on Sunday and only gathering online. And yet it's been a true testimony to God's grace that we've been able to get together in this way. You know, as restrictions lift and we can gather with more people, there's possibility for us to gather on Sundays, perhaps with our friends and family, to tune in and worship together. But for now, we're wanting to see this as a means of grace to unite our church and to share the good news of the gospel both near and far. And I know already a bunch of people have been asking me, you know, if we can continue City on a Hill digital beyond this season. And then we're certainly praying about that and asking big questions and dreaming about all the ways that digital might serve our mission to both know Jesus and make Jesus known. In terms of our gospel communities, our midweek gatherings, really encouraged by the men and women who've been getting involved. In fact, we've had more people part of our gospel communities than ever before. And as we're in stage 1, which allows up to 5 people, it seems best and most loving that we continue to meet online. As those restrictions ease and lift, stage 2 signals that we could have 20 people in a home. Then there will be freedom and encouragement to meet physically, as well as options for online as well. But for now, we're going to really lean in on those online communities and be encouraged. I heard a fantastic story about a young bloke, I'll call him Ali, who was once part of City on a Hill, but has since returned to Iran. And because of restrictions where he is, he hasn't been able to connect with Zoom and be part of an online church. And yet by God's grace, he was able to get a workaround and join in on one of those gospel communities. And he was sharing what a blessing it was to him to unite with brothers and sisters across the globe. And so if you're not yet part of a gospel community, can I encourage you to do that? There are a lot of changes for us all, a lot of changes ahead for us, a lot of moves, a lot of things that we're going to seek to navigate together as God's people. And in the midst of all of that, I know that you must have a bunch of questions, and so I'd love you to let me know the questions that you're wrestling with, the questions you'd like to know. So just jot those in the comments below, and I'd love to respond to them personally and ensure that we can move together as God's people. And of course, as we've said throughout this journey, you know, amidst all of this change, amidst all of this chaos, there is one thing that does not change, and that is the good news of the gospel. Jesus continues to be our Lord, Jesus continues to be our King, and we continue to be united in Him. In the book of Matthew, we're reminded, aren't we, of who we are in Jesus. And there, with his disciples gathered around on that hill, Jesus reminds us of who we are. And he says this: it was true then, it's true today. Jesus says, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. I love you, City on a Hill, and look forward to connecting with you soon.